Thank you, Bill. Can you just clarify, for reproductive cells, you're referring to oocyte and spermatocyte, or that have natural telomerase?
I was actually referring to germline cells.
Germline,
so prior to any of that, so the cells that are passed from one generation to the next, you know, this started 4.7 billion years ago, and been passing from one generation to the next. Now, during the development of the eggs and the sperm, still telomeres don't get shorter. Okay, so they have telomeres that are 15,000 bases in length at that point. But I know there's mixed people have given different answers in the publications. Some say telomerase is turned on during meiosis and stuff, and some say it's turned off. But it probably doesn't matter because as long as it's always consistent. That's really an important thing, yes.
And one more question. What naturally occurring substances or products have you found that express telomerase?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention those. Is there somebody here that can give me permission to talk about them? Because they're products that are available. Yeah. Okay. TA65. TA65 is really the only known nutraceutical so far that's commercially available that induces telomerase. And what's that? TA65? They're next door. That's a company called TA Sciences. Yes. Okay, thanks. Flo?
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. They're hosting the conference, actually.
That's right.
That's why they put my talk last.
And he's right here.
Yes.
Thank you. I really like the obese bricklayer, falling off over and over again. Very cute. So I have a question and a partial response to your hormone issue. My question has to do with, since you've been able to measure telomere lengths over a period of time, I know the sensitivity of the assay is not that great in terms of base pairs, and the turnover is slow, so you may not see change. But has any work been done looking at telomere length and then following a cohort of patients out 5-10 years? Again, I don't know exactly when the initial measurements were possible. That's part one. Part two. Okay, so there is information on that, so you can
published data.
Can you actually be predictive? The reason I ask is there's data like that.
Yes.
With respect to testosterone. Yeah. So
Richard Coffin at University of Utah published a paper with Elizabeth Blackburn showing that they followed people for a long time. They didn't follow people. They actually got blood samples from people, like in the military, from year after year after year, and they could tell that there was a strong correlation between the length of the telomeres and when that person ended up dying of old age.
Independent of other variables like diabetes or heart disease?
They ruled out all those things.
So the same data exists for testosterone. So your question as to shortening telomere length related to levels of testosterone or testosterone optimization is actually clinically counterintuitive, because as testosterone falls, and there's a lot of studies related to this, independent of other morbidities and other risk factors, there's earlier death. And so raising testosterone, even if it does shorten telomeres, is not associated with earlier morbidity. It's actually associated with prolonged mortality, so a prolonged lifespan. So I'm not sure of the data that you presented. I think it would be interesting to flush it out based on the literature.
Lots of more research is done, definitely. But I have had the privilege of talking to a lot of the clients that are taking TA65, and a lot of it, especially the older men, are raving about their sexual abilities. Okay.
Independent of testosterone.
I don't know if it's independent. I don't know if it's independent of testosterone.
Right.
Maybe their testosterone levels are going up. Maybe somebody from TA Sciences might be able to answer that question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
We have our last question with Dr. Spoles, and then we can.
Hi, Steve.
We can always.
Yeah, I'll be definitely interested.
Remember, we were talking in the hallway earlier, and I want to make sure that you explain that the animations that you showed were very clever, of course, but a simplification of a representation of the architecture of the telomere with respect to the nuclear membrane, and that the bend or fold in that is also important, not just telomere length.
Absolutely. And if this had been a molecular biology science conference, I wouldn't have shown the bricklayer slides. I would have shown showing the telomeres folding up and actually the conformation changing when it gets shorter. And Steve clearly knows a lot about telomere biology. All right. Thank you very much.